Alright, so on the draw against you are Delver, Blue-Red Delver, but I obviously didn't know that, and I find it really funny. This is the third video I've recorded, and the third time I've had my Singleton Volcanic Island in my hand. Regardless of that, this is an easy mulligan. It doesn't do anything. I can pitch this to this and have all lands. Pretty standard mulligan right there. So, this isn't bad. I got 2 lands, and the cool thing with the London mulligan is that we can now get rid of equipment in our hand, so that does favor Stoneblade. This I'm keeping. It at least does something. Like I said, I can sculpt my hand with Ponder and Brainstorm. That's a keep. And Shivan mulligan to 6, which is cool. We're both mulligan to 6, so we're starting off pretty even. Polluted Delta. Preordained. So my first thought was, I don't think Storm plays Volcanic, so it was either like Sneak and Show or Blue-Red Delver. And that would be great if it was blue-red. So here I'm going to be playing the Strand because this I can use for white, this is going to be for blue, and I'm going to be pondering. Now, this was the one little mistake that I made because I'm like, well, if it's Sneak and Show, these are going to be horrible. But if it's Blue-Red Delver, the Swords is obviously going to be really great. So what I should have done is land, Swords, land. But for some odd reason, I figured, well, I'll put the Swords in the bottom. You know, I can play my land, and then if I need it, you know, I'll get it or whatever. So we'll see when that comes up. Not thinking that, you know, if you look at the cards in my hand, how to actually take care of this Dreadhorde, what I would need to do. So, of course, now I'm losing my Swords. So that was a... it's funny, like, the mistakes you make in this, like, a lot of people don't even notice. Like, my opponent wouldn't have known that, obviously, because it was my Ponder. But we're doing this here. And it gets forced. So even if I did have that Swords in my hand, I wouldn't be able to do much right here unless I wanted to Brainstorm, which that's not going to do much. I mean, as I Brainstorm, right? And there's my Council's Judgment. It's fine. If I Brainstorm, then I do go and Brainstorm. Here we're probably looking at Delta Delta or Jace Delta. Okay, Jace is a little too high out of the range, the mana curve for this. Don't worry, it gets better. So that's that. If only I knew it was UR Delver before I began. Actually, I kind of put him on that, either that or Sneak and Show, but it's okay. That's why you go back and watch replays. You can always learn from it. Very important thing I've noticed, obviously, with that kind of quote-unquote mistake I made, is that you got to look at the lands in your hand, like, because I needed to use that Plains for a Plow, and because of that, that means I would have been fetching it away. So here, a lot of options. Like, this is the game Delver wants you to play. I could do Polluted Delta, get Tundra, and that, which would be horrible. The Wasteland and Daze. I believe I pondered here. Or I did Snapcaster? Yeah, okay. So I play into Daze with this, and they force it. Okay. That's fine. Because I need to get rid of that dude right away. They had Brainstorm. They're probably going to get more going in there. If that resolved, I'm actually not sure who I would have... gone after, because they have 1 card in their hands, so that would get rid of their Brainstorm, but it would have been a tough call. But either way, let's keep going. They're Brainstorming, that's fine. Sure. Now they really have the pressure, and that's a great draw. So here I am going with the Councils, because they only have 1 card in their hand, and it happens to be a Bolt, okay? Could have done Swords there and then saved the, what's it called? The Councils, but I figured there was less chances of them having anything, the reason why I did that. And then, of course, sure, I'm just kind of going through this quickly. I'm sure you can tell how this specific game ended up. I'm not sure if that Plow would have mattered. Actually, it's hard to say. Because I would have had 2 Plows. I wouldn't have needed the Snapcaster, and then I could have Snapcaster, so it would definitely would have changed the course of the game. Just that little, you know, putting 1 card 1 further spot down. Okay, so that's that. So that's fine. Let's go to game 2, and then we'll go from there. All right, so game 1, I don't know how big of a difference that Swords would have made. It would have made a big difference. It would have helped. But either way, let's move on. This is a great hand. We've got Swords. We've got Spell Snare for Dreadhorde and for Young Pyromancer, we've got a Brainstorm and a Fetch Land. This is actually an awesome hand. Let's go with it. Here I believe I played an Island. Yes. Not planning on doing anything turn 1. Okay. So now I have the option to Brainstorm and fetch away for a, what's it called, a plow, or I can just wait and plow. Sure. And here, I didn't Brainstorm. I have a really good hand, so right here I get to play around, what's it called, both Spell Pierce and Flusterstorm. That's why I, you know, did that on my turn. I talked about that the first time I played. Being very careful with your spells, making sure you have mana open, it's going to really help you out. Like, this is an awesome, you know, turn 5, I'm at 20 life. Okay, we have ways of dealing with that. Here, I might have Brainstormed. Okay, I got 2 fetches, plus I got another one, so easy Flooded Strand, Flooded Strand. Now, the question is, do I want to fetch? I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then I can also have an, at this point, they're not doing a whole lot. I'm putting them on obviously having, what, maybe a Wasteland or Spell Pierce, Flusterstorm, Daze. That's usually the stuff that is sitting around in their hand. So I decided to keep the land there because, you know, I wanted to be able to protect against that. We're shuffling away the... Here I'm looking for a Swords or a Path. These actually aren't that bad. I do believe I went with these. I didn't need another Spell Snare, so that's going on the bottom. Okay. I already have a True-Name, so I believe I played the Stoneforge. And I did nothing here. I wanted to be able to snare something with backup. And I didn't want to snap Swords either. Sure. So I didn't want that True-Name. Yeah, you see one, play one. Okay, so here is either Snapcaster, might be Snapcaster Swords, which doesn't play around, what's it called? Flusterstorm, unfortunately. That would have been one more turn, but like I said, sometimes you gotta just play it out there. I could have played Stoneforge, could have played True-Name. And they did actually have a Flusterstorm there. It's kind of expected, but sometimes you got to put on the pressure. Here, let's see, turn 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not going to play Stoneforge into Daze. I'm still at 15, which isn't all that bad, so... Plus, I wanted to keep Spell Snare up for a Dreadhorde or a Pyromancer. And what do you know? They got something for it too. Okay, like as expected. I mean, like, what else could they have in there? And the Spell Pierce, you know, Flusterstorm, Daze, but they are quickly getting rid of their graveyard. All right, so this is where the game gets interesting. I have so many plays. I could play this. They won't be able to counter it because, you know, they don't play something that would be able to. I could play this, it could get countered, it could play Narset. Good thing about Narset is that it allows me to dig for removal, and if I bring it out, they're probably going to go after that. So what I decided to do here, play my land. I went with Narset. This would also block that, but just the ability to get an extra card here was not awesome. Alright, that's like the second time. I've played this many times. I think this is the second time it's ever whiffed. And it came at a really poor spot. But hey, worst case scenario, it's still going to be soaking up some damage. So here we go with the Stoneforge. Here we're getting Batterskull. I don't care about, what's it called? Jitte, because I got a True-Name in my hand. I have enough mana to pretty much bring in True-Name next turn. Stoneforge it in and then equip it next turn because I need to start gaining some life. So that Narset actually serves a nice purpose. Despite the fact I lost a card, it did soak up this 3 damage, which meant a really huge part of this game. Okay, now they got their own true name. Sweet. It's going to be coming down to the wire, as always. Okay, not the best, not the worst. So if I play True Name, that means I'll still have my 2 mana open to, you know, bring in Batterskull. I pretty much need to at this point because I got to suit it up. So we were going with that play. This loses to a Red Blast, and that's about it. Or gets countered to a Red Blast. They didn't bolt my Stoneforge, which is great. What do they got here? Sure, the more the merrier. Welcome to the True Name party. Welcome to the party, pal. It's from Die Hard. He's not blocking because he doesn't want to get it killed, obviously. But yeah, pretty standard attack there. And the turn, we are bringing in Batterskull. And we are sticking with our plan. Okay, I'm pretty sure I didn't play that. There's no reason to, and just cracking it would be horrible. So immediately I just went to equip. Despite the fact I'm gaining 7, they still got a serious amount of pressure. They got 9 right there. So obviously a bolt would win it. 3, 6, 9. I'm actually surprised they didn't attack. Well, if they attack with that, then I gain life. So never mind. But the turn before, they could have just to lose it. That would have helped them. I am at 3. Aha. So I figured if they had a bolt or something, they would just play in response to Narset. So I decided to attack. I don't think that mattered too much. And I'm definitely not cracking that because they have 9 right here. So let's play this. Unfortunately, I didn't have an extra land open. So even if I got something, I wouldn't be able to use it. So this actually did nothing because if I pitch something to force, then I'll go to 9 and they'll attack me for 9 and I lose. If I crack the fetch, I'll go to 9 and I'll go to 9, then they'll attack me for 9. So I think I just took a Brainstorm here. Ponder, yeah, because it just pretty much came down to this. Did they pick up a bolt? They did not. Very similar to the last match I recorded with them. That was, you know, True Name, Batterskull doing damage. At some points it seemed like they were ahead. Some points it seemed like I was ahead, but that happens a lot with this matchup. Let's go to the third and final game of this match. All right, so we are on the draw, as expected. This actually isn't that bad of a hand, but the removal costs, let's say it costs 4 or 5, you know, when you're playing against them. You got Stoneforge for early pressure. You got cards to look for, you know, removal. I actually ended up mulliganing this, and it's very questionable. You might be able to keep that. And this is actually very similar, so I decided to keep this one. I felt going to a 5 was unnecessary, and I would just bottom the Tundra. We don't need non-basic against Blue-Red Delver. Let's see what you got here. They also mulliganed, it looked like. Cool. This. And I noticed that a lot. Blue-Red Delver, I feel like mulligans a lot. It's like if they don't have a creature. Because I feel like maybe they have a lot of air in their deck. Either way, what I'm doing here, I'm probably playing the island here. Yes. I can Brainstorm. Next turn, that allows me to have a Counterspell. Sure, you can have that. Nice Wasteland. All right, there's a reason to my madness on this. So the reason I'm brainstorming is because, one, I have 2. So if it gets dazed, that is perfect. This is actually going to be more of a bait spell. If they daze this, that means they can't daze my next play. Also, if it goes through, that's fine. I don't mind getting 1 card back. I do have a Flooded Strand for a shuffle. So what I decided to do end the turn is Brainstorm. And actually bid on it. I was like, yes, this is awesome. Because now when I play Stoneforge, they have to have a Force to Will. That's going to set them back even more. Okay, so here I believe I just played Plains. We're going for Stoneforge. And we got it. Awesome. no bolt here, no island for days. So that was what I was hoping they would do. Maybe it was it looked maybe like a desperation brainstorm. You know, I didn't have a fetch there, but it was definitely in my favor based upon the cards I had. So that's a time where playing brainstorm, quote unquote, incorrect. Not like, you know, everyone has their own opinion on that, but there was a reason specifically to in that case, although normally I don't always do that. And it worked out very well. Pretty much it was all upside for me, even if they didn't Daze decks, you know, I get to fetch. Let's see what they got here. Bolt. Yes. Okay, perfect. So now they played their land. They're not doing anything with that. I really like the position I'm in right now. I have a Brainstorm. I can get rid of the Batterskull. I got some fetch lands. This is looking great. I'm doing nothing here because I want to keep up Counterspell. If they don't do anything, I am Brainstorming because this will be a great spot to do it. And I also have Swords to get rid of whatever they got. They can have that all day. I am only worried about or focused on their creatures. Okay, so it looks like we're going to be Brainstorming here. Perfect. Gorgeous. Okay, so Batterskull is going on the bottom. And then I believe I put Flooded Strand on top, but I did not crack it, okay, because I need mana. I need to play around days. I need, you know, if I play True-Name, that means also I can have Spell Pierce backup. So this is what I did here. So Batterskull, probably Flooded Strand. No Flooded Strand. What did I put back? It was a Ponder, okay. Did I shuffle? Okay, so either way, it was the same thing. I wasn't planning on shuffle because I want to build my mana base up. It's very important in this matchup. Once you start playing around Daze and Spell Pierce and all that stuff, it makes their life so difficult. They get stuck with cards in their hand doing nothing, and that's that. So here, blue, we are going with the True-Name. Okay, I guess I did not decide to Spell Pierce that because obviously Spell Pierce wouldn't do all that much. That's fine. I still like where I am, position-wise. Only thing here would be like True-Name that I don't want to see, but UR Delver certainly has a lot of air. And now look at this. Pretty much I believe this is a Ponder. Yeah. Let's see what we got. Okay, so was this turn 5, 1, 2, 3, 4? I wanted to play a land for the turn, and I didn't want to play a Delta because I didn't want to shuffle this. And if I drew Narset and wanted to play it this turn, I mean, it's like Spell Pierce, it's Daze, it's not a good idea, especially when they have, you know, cards in their hand, they're doing nothing. So what I decided to do is play slower, wait a turn like I normally do when I win these games. So Delta, Narset, Island, no shuffle, play Island, go. This also leaves up Counterspell, and pretty much I could Spell Pierce, I would lose Narset, but that is something to consider as well. They did nothing. That's perfect. So, 1, 2, 3. Let's not get nothing this time. Thank you very much. Okay, perfect. So, Flusterstorm and Ponder. This is actually a pretty close call. I will have another use of this if they don't Lightning Bolt it, but, you know, Ponder's probably more helpful, but we'll see. Yes. Okay, so that makes sense. I'm not playing it now. They can Spell Pierce it. No need to. Sure, you can have that. All these bolts that are going at Narset, you know, it's great because they're not going at me as well. Okay, so this is junk. I have a Counterspell, I have a Spell Snare, and there's no creature for Jitte, so we are shuffling that. Draw planes. I'll play it. Got a belt of mana base. Okay, so far so good, so nothing. That Wasteland looks great too, by the way, doesn't it? With all these non-basic lands. Now we start drawing more cards we can't currently use. Okay, so we sit here. Nothing on their side. I draw Force of Will. Nothing on my side. Interesting game, huh? Okay, so now we have some action. Ponder. Let's do it. Okay. This was an interesting one. I believe I took Flusterstorm because they haven't been doing anything, so they got to have a ton of counters. And I feel like Flusterstorm is going to come in, you know, it's going to be very handy. Brainstorm I don't want because my hand is amazing. Tundra, no. So I think I took Flusterstorm here and shuffled. Okay, I didn't. I'm sorry. I was incorrect. Now, Do I play True-Name Nemesis? And then that means 1, 2, 3. That means I can't. I have Force of Will backup. I actually chose not to. Like I said, I would rather play when I didn't have any lands, so I got to go to cleanup. So I wanted to keep my blue cards because I knew there's going to be some type of counter war going on. So I threw away a Swords. Yes. How funny. How have you seen a blue-red Delver matchup where you're like, you know, I got to discard. I'm going to throw away a Swords. Anyway. Okay, now I draw that. That's perfect, okay, because now I got even more backup. So this is going to be a huge deal. So I wanted to make sure I could fight over that, which is the reason why I did that. So we're playing True Name here, as opposed to last turn when I had more mana up. And they are choosing to hardcast the Force, which is interesting. Okay, so before I did that, I wanted to crack my fetch. I want to make sure I had all my mana up. So here, I did not want to counterspell. By doing that, then I can't Spell Pierce, I can't Flusterstorm. So the best line here that I noticed, obviously, is going to be Spell Pierce first. They can't pay for it, so now they got to do something else. And plus, this is going to be that means they're tapped out, which is great. Not paying for that. Okay. So now I'm flustering this. I also could have done like Force Counterspell, which is a possibility, so double days would get me here. Which they did not have, which is good. So now I can protect the king, so to speak. And it gets even better. Like, this is definitely a great card. It's sometimes difficult to play, but as you've noticed, it soaks up damage. Sometimes you can whiff on it, which sucks, but it is what it is. Let's attack first. Here we're going with Narset. So Pierce and Plow. I already have more plows than I can ask for, so I'm going with Pierce. And that's about it. They had enough, and I don't blame them. So that's Blue-Red Delver. Did they even find any creatures? They maybe found one creature. That is the problem with this deck. They exiled that. So it was me pretty much playing against no creatures, which was interesting. That does happen a lot with Blue-Red Delver. That's why I've noticed, like, I feel they mulligan a lot. But my sideboard is very nicely set up against them. I got 4 swords, obviously. I got a Path to Exile I'm bringing in. I got a Hydroblast I'm bringing in. I have 2 total Spell Snares. Narset helps. It's not the worst in the world. I have 2 Council's Judgments, so usually I can eliminate their threats. It's really about stabilizing your mana, playing around their soft permission, and then proceeding from there. I pretty much played a control game, and it worked very well. Helps when they draw a lot of crap, but like I said, that's what happens when you really play against their... what's the word I'm looking for? Their plan of attack. I'm sure they had a lot of crap in there they couldn't do anything against. It might have been Spell Pierces, but there was always, or Spell Pierce or Daze, but there was always mana available. And with this, maybe they had some cantrips they couldn't do anything. But that's that. Hope you got something out of this. There's always something to learn from other people playing. And until then, have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you soon.